What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Top 5 Podcast, a show where every week we choose a topic and give it a top 5 ranking. My name is Ron McNerney, and I'm joined here today with my buddies Zach Blanner,
Yo, what's up?
Colin Harding,
What's up, everybody?
and Matt Bush.
Heyo.
Today's show is centered around our favorite Disney movies and why they are our favorite. To make this list easier, we excluded Pixar movies, and we will make another episode with those movies in mind. But boys, are we ready?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So I'm happy you're ready, Colin, because you will be going first today.
Ooh. Ooh.
So much work.
He wasn't prepped.
He wasn't. He's still playing Call of Duty.
All right. So my number 5 is Treasure Planet.
Yeah. Treasure Planet is so good.
Treasure Planet is so. I mean, what gets better than Pirates
God.
and space?
Fucking
Not too much.
phenomenal.
Not too much is getting better than Pirates in space.
Talk about a complete throwback. Something I didn't even think of that movie, if I'm being honest.
Oh man.
I remember being in. Was it? I guess it was their second house. My aunt's second house with me and my cousin watching Treasure Planet in the weird living room that was like all the way on the side of the house, but it was like such a good movie at that time. I rewatched it so many times afterwards, and it was always a good movie. I recently rewatched it on Disney Plus, and it's still a fantastic movie. I mean, not too much gets better than Pirates in Space.
Dude.
And not only that, but I think everybody in the world wanted to have that windsurfer that he had.
Dude, out of all like the spin-off series that Disney made of like their movies, I think a Treasure Planet spin-off series would have been phenomenal.
I don't know how they didn't do it.
Dude, it was so like it is such an underrated movie.
It's
I
an
have
obvious
it on
choice
my
to have a
list.
spin-off for.
I have it on my list, but yeah, man, like, what is his name? Is Nerf? Is that who it is? Is that the name?
Of who?
The little flubber thing.
Oh, I don't remember
Nerf,
the flubber
Nerf.
guy's name.
I don't know, but yeah, it's like honestly, like, I remember liking it as a kid, and then it wasn't until my sophomore year of college that like I saw it like on Admit One, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. And I was like and I just remembered like not anticipating anything from it, but once like I got like 15 or 20 minutes in, I remember sitting there and thinking like, wow, this is like a really good movie.
I've done that in school with like a couple other movies, and one of them will be on my list, so we'll talk about that a bit later.
I have
Yeah.
never seen Treasure Planet.
Oh,
Oh, that's great, dude. If you ever need something to watch, go on and watch it.
I can't believe that you haven't. I don't know how you haven't. It's almost like it was Treasure Planet and Atlantis. Like those two
Dude,
were
Atlantis
so
was
good.
so good too. Atlantis was really good.
And I don't know how you haven't seen Treasure Planet, because they were
Yeah.
like both like
I haven't
that
seen
kind of a
either those.
movie. Wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I just like I really love adventure movies.
Oh yeah.
Like I love like the whole like, oh, you have a quest and you're going out and like you're traveling through things, and I just love seeing different like parts of like, because I think it adds something to a movie whenever you have to continually switch up the setting and the environment, especially when you're talking about space and like planets and things like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool. It was one of the first like kind of twists that I was exposed to as a child, with the whole like idea of like developing. Actually, I think it was probably the first movie that like I ever saw that developed like the main character developed a relationship with a villain, was revealed he was a villain, and then they had a bit of a redemption in the end. That was the first time I saw something like that. I think it was executed phenomenally. That movie does not get nearly as much.
It was I mean, I think it did fairly well in the box office too.
I'm sure it did, but it's like, I mean, as far as like things that people talk about who are our age now. Like Treasure Planet isn't always in the usually in the conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not, because it's not a Pixar movie. I think most people who remember Disney, they remember things like Cars, and
Toy
they remember
Story
things.
and
Yeah.
For sure.
So like whenever you bring up Disney movies, people don't think about like, Santa Claus 2 being a Disney movie. They think of that being Christmas movie,
Yeah. No, you're right. Just for
So-
the record, Santa Claus 2 is the best of the Santa Claus series.
Why I brought it up.
Can't argue with that.
But yeah, I think this definitely deserves a lot more credit. I don't think it had the best reception though.
Yeah.
But I do think it made quite a bit of money in the box office.
That might be why they just didn't make a spin-off series for it. It's not like did Lilo and Stitch had like a spin-off like
Lilo and Stitch,
yeah.
Aladdin,
Yeah.
Lion King. Well, not even Lion King. It was like Timon and Pumbaa's own little thing that they had. And like Simba was in it, I believe, like semi-frequently, just because it was during that time period of like Simba's life.
Well, I think another reason why it wasn't adopted was Treasure Island.
Treasure Island.
This was like an adaptation of Treasure Island, except it was now in space,
I don't think I've ever seen Treasure Island.
I think it was a book.
Oh, okay. Well, that would explain. Does it follow the
Well,
same?
I shouldn't say I think it was a book. I know it was a book. But yeah, it's very similar, except it's like that book is Earth, where Treasure Planet is this far off, distant world, and it's all the space stuff.
Can we talk about that freaking DreamWorks moon with the city built entirely through it? That was awesome.
Dude, honestly,
DreamWorks
just
like
like
another
competitor to
thing.
Disney. How
Like,
dare you
that's
talk about them on this podcast?
That's another thing, is like it did such an awesome job at making the world interesting. All of the aliens were interesting.
so unique.
Planets, like, yeah, all the planets were so cool. And especially like the treasure room and everything. Like in the whole plot with like the robot and everything. That was
Yeah.
Finn. No, Finn was the captain. What was the robot's name? I forget.
The robot was like Ben?
Ben? Yeah, I think it was Ben. I think it was.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Ben.
Did the main character have a romantic interest?
I
I
don't
know
think
the
so.
doctor did. The doctor got with the captain, but I forgot if he did.
I don't think he did. I think this was more of him trying to. This was kind of like your like coming of age story. Like he was going out.
Yeah.
Like
He's like a
becoming
rebel.
a man.
Yeah. Especially with him, like, wasn't he on the thing because he got in trouble? He kept getting in trouble with the police, and they're like, "Oh, if you go work on this like ship, then like." Wasn't that?
Yeah, I mean, like however he got bailed out. I just remember he got bailed out, and then they said, "Well, you can be a part of this crew."
Yeah.
And then, like, all the piratey things end up happening after
Yeah.
he takes off.
Which
And
I think
honestly,
is such.
like-
Go ahead.
I think the coolest thing was turning a black hole into a like.
The treasure room.
Well, no, they turned the black hole into a what do you call it? Like a whirlpool, like whenever the ocean turns into like it opens up and like
Oh yeah.
like that's
it's a
what
whirlpool.
like there's just so many like.
Yeah.
And then like they encounter a supernova, which
Yeah.
like you couldn't. I mean, obviously there's. I guess that could be a tidal wave. I mean, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Just to,
it
like,
is.
And they executed it all perfectly. It's not like all this stuff had like no purpose in the plot. Like all of it had great purpose because they would slowly get rid of people every time like one of these catastrophes happened. and
Yeah,
stuff.
like no one was safe too. Like
Yeah.
people were dying. I think to kind of build off what you were saying, and like Matt, since you never saw it, like they're not on like a spaceship, they're actually on like an actual sea ship that is flying through space that has like mechanic like spaceship
Jets.
elements to it.
Yeah, I've seen it before a long
Yeah.
time ago.
But I think like the character development is so good, given the fact that like he started out as like kind of like this criminal who wanted adventure and everything. The pirate offers that to him, and arguably is everything that like he would have wanted to have. But because of like the lessons the pirate himself even taught him, and what he like learned while being on the ship, like he couldn't vibe with it. To take away from, not to use a word that probably takes away from the actual interaction or thought process that the kid has.
So basically, what you're saying is that Matt needs to watch this movie when he.
I think everybody should watch this movie.
I low key, Matt, that's like a Goonies level part on you.
Is it really?
It is. No, for sure.
I've never heard people talk about it.
It's a fantastic movie. This was something that like me and my cousins would sit down and watch. I mean, Leah probably doesn't remember it, but me and Scott would sit down all the time and watch this as kids.
Yeah.
Like this was just something that we put on and had fun.
It's a great movie.
A great movie indeed. But to move on to my number 5, I would say it is Aladdin.
Oh, really?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Aladdin is the pick. Like, I don't know. Would you? I guess you could, but like you can't because Aladdin is the main central focus. But like the Disney like princess movies in that sense, you know what I mean? I think Aladdin.
No, it's definitely a Disney princess movie.
Yeah.
Listen. All right, Jasmine is the Disney princess. I'll fight anyone who fucking comes at it otherwise. Stay tuned for a future
top 5 Disney princesses
episode when we rank our top 5 Disney princess fuck list.
Well, I mean,
guess what?
That's like a hard 180 from what I was expecting you to say.
Jasmine is like 16 in the movie, bro.
She don't look it, dude. She don't look it, and I was way younger than 16 when I saw it. I was way younger than 16 when I saw it.
All right. Anyway, to segue from that, the cops just came to my door, so I had to stop for a second. Tell Zach they know where you live now. But
I'm telling you guys, put it in the comments if you want that episode. Let us know because it'll happen. I'll make sure it happens if the audience wants it.
But Aladdin is definitely my number 5. Obviously, thanks to Robin Williams' brilliance of that
Robin
movie.
Williams.
As featured on my top 5 comedians list in a previous podcast. Was that our second one?
That was our second
one.
Sorry, my dog barked. Yes, that was our second one. But yeah, absolutely. I think it was just very well made. It was definitely the most entertaining. I Could Show You the World is always a bop. You can just listen to that like when you're just driving wherever if you really want to. Soundtrack is amazing in Aladdin. I think it's my favorite Disney princess movie, and Disney was honestly just built around princesses and a talking mouse. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah. So that's why I put Aladdin at my number 5. Great writing, Robin Williams carrying the movie as he does for a lot of movies. So that's why he's my number 5.
I think it's only fair to like mention, not only like aside from a few like kind of editing CGI moments, the live action remake is really freaking good. I like it.
Oh yeah,
a lot. Like
I didn't bother with
it's
it.
really good.
In case I didn't specify this, I know I didn't specify. This is the cartoon Aladdin, the one I was referring to. But yes, the live action one is amazing. There was a lot of awkward editing and stuff within the live action. I did talk about Robin Williams, But even so, the cast of the Aladdin movie I felt was amazing, though. I thought they were great picks.
Will Smith carries that movie on his fucking back, man.
Will Smith is just such a good actor that no matter what movie he's in, he carries it, even if he doesn't need carried.
Ron, we were talking about a few days ago, like moments that like when me and you go to see kids movies that we lose our mind over after the appropriate amount of laughing time in a movie theater, and everyone else thinks we're probably just fucking high adults like seeing a kids movie. That was one of them when he's talking to Aladdin, he's like, "Oh, this is your first party? Honey, you're going to have to go stay in the room because you're not ruining my good time." You remember that?
No, yeah, I do. Right. Yeah, Will Smith always brings his, like, style of humor to any movie I feel he's a part of. I feel like the movie could be written around Will Smith.
For sure, for sure. He's also like adaptable. It doesn't need to be written around him. He'll just fill the role he needs to fill.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll easily make himself the star of the show.
I definitely think Will Smith just does a good job in general, no matter what movie he's in. Like,
Hashtag fuck Jada.
Big Willie style.
Jesus. Alright, but yeah.
I know nothing about the circumstances, so if I'm wrong, don't hate me for it.
Yeah, he just saw a hashtag, and that's now his view.
I just saw Will Smith crying, and I was like, what could somebody do to make this pure soul cry? Anyway.
But yeah, that Aladdin is
the entanglement.
Oh,
My guy.
Aladdin is my number 5. Matt, what is your number 5?
My number 5 might be a little surprising. I have Big Hero 6.
Wow.
Really?
Wow,
Yeah.
that is
Matt,
really surprising.
I'm so happy you put that in your top 5.
But I haven't seen that movie in so long. Honestly, forgot about it. But that was probably one of the best times.
Yeah, I haven't
Us
seen
all
it
watching
since.
it at my
I've only
house.
watched it once. Like I've watched it the least amount of times of the movies on my list, but it's such a banger.
It is.
Honestly, it's so fun for the whole ride. They even take you on the emotional trip of like all Disney movies have to go on.
Yeah.
Dude, Disney movies make you have to like feel sad at least at some point. Disney and Pixar movies. But like sad in a good way.
I thought it was Pixar at first, so I had to Google to make sure that it wasn't Pixar.
It's animated
Yeah, it
so
was
well.
Marvel.
It's
Yeah,
animated
it
so
does.
It
well.
looks like a
definitely.
Pixar movie, but it's not. It like oozes charm too. Like the
Yeah.
character designs are so well done.
You're telling me a guy in a kabuki mask.
I didn't actually see Big Hero 6 whenever it came out.
I saw it.
Why
I
didn't
didn't
you
see
watch
it in
it?
the theater. I saw it after. Like it had been out for.
Did we watch it at my house? I forget. I remember.
Zach, you
I
and I
watched
watched
it.
it at your house.
Okay.
At the very least, it was just me and you. But I
Okay.
remember watching it with you for my first time because I
I
knew
was
it was
there.
great. Matt, you were there?
Yeah, it's just a fun time.
We had to pause it a few times from laughing, didn't we?
I think we did.
I mean, yeah,
sure we did.
definitely. Especially like if we're all just together, like in one of our houses, I feel like we laugh way harder sometimes than we would if we were in a
No,
movie
for
theater
sure.
because we at least have like the. We don't have to feel guilty socially if we keep laughing, but we can actually pause the movie like in our basement and just keep it going for like 5 more minutes. Like if we have to, we kind of like force ourselves to like be like the Eminem ad, you know, before a movie starts. Like be respectful.
It's like the anime Mario Brothers.
What do you mean?
I have no idea.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The anime Mario
You mean
Brothers.
the animated series?
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like an ad before a movie. I was like, when?
No.
Yeah, no, that. Yeah, exactly that one. Zach, describe it to Max. I don't think he knows.
No, he was there when we watched it. I showed Matt, and he was cheesing so much that I made everyone else watch it. Matt, the thing where like they're running in Mario.
I know. I remember now.
Yeah, yeah.
But Matt, Big Hero 6, your number 5?
You know it.
Absolutely great pick. I was heavily considering that movie a lot, but we'll talk about it later. But Zach, your number 5. Hit us with it.
My number 5 is Lilo and Stitch.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
movie definitely crossed my mind a lot too.
Lilo and Stitch is just it's good, man. I think like especially now it's kind of a movie I think about the most. It's definitely like one of the bigger Disney movies I see on social media with like the gif of like Stitch standing in the rain. Like I've seen like quotes from like Lilo and Stitch about like just like inspirational quotes and stuff like that. And it's just like a great movie. The whole dynamic of like Pleakley and Jumba trying to interact with like humans and like hunt Stitch and like that whole character arc of like them hunting Stitch, but then them like trying to save him as well. It does, I think, a really good job of world building where like you're in Hawaii for the entire time, but like it gives enough flavor of like there's other things happening to the point that you're aware of like there's other planets and other species, and then like a whole like intergalactic government that like Earth is completely unaware of, that like plays enough of a role that like they're important but isn't overwhelming and confusing. And I love like Lilo and Stitch's dynamic, like that whole like the relationship as it goes, how completely like oblivious everyone is to the fact that Stitch is not a fucking dog. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think Lilo and Stitch is a fan. Oh, and then like seeing Stitch like kind of have his whole thing where he goes from like this like kind of monster alien that was built completely to destroy everything that it touches and uses like a weapon, to changing from that mindset and become like figuring out what it means to be loved, and what can happen like when people care about you in your life and like fill you with that kind of love and everything. And then I think they just take off from there. Like, the first one's probably my favorite one, but I love what they do in the second one, how it introduces all of the other experiments, and it gives you an idea of like what the other aliens and everything like look like, and are like with different kind of planets and stuff like that. And then the TV series even does that even more. But yeah, I think the first Lilo and Stitch is my favorite.
I love that movie. I liked it. I loved it as I was a kid, but whenever, not to rub salt in the wound, Zach, but whenever I went to Disney World last time, they had a lot of like those 4D, like, they weren't rides, but they were just like events, like kind of like how Kennywood had, like in like their one section by like the bumper cars, like the Ice Age. That's what Kennywood did. They had like a 4D like theater, and it was just a lot of like that that childhood.
I actually
feel
think
good
I did
humor and stuff. I mean, I'm sure they've had it other places, but this one was just in Disney World. Like, you really go into like the spaceship, like chambers, like be in the ride, and then like Stitch would run around, and then like he would just burp, and it smelled terrible, like into the room, and he would just run around laughing and everything. I loved it. So that like has like that extra bit of charm, I guess. Like when I look back at that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I love Lilo and Stitch. I think it's a really good movie. Honestly, I should really go back and like watch it one day.
Oh, I went back and watched. I went back and watched almost everything Lilo and Stitch very recently. I do it every now and then. Like, I'll just go back and watch all the Lilo and Stitches.
Yeah, there were 3 of them, right? Or 4?
4.
Or 4? Jesus, what?
Plus the TV
second
series.
one? The
We
second?
have
Oh,
Lilo and Stitch, Stitch the movie, Stitch Has a Glitch, and then Leroy and Stitch.
Yeah, jeez. Great movie, guys.
Yeah,
all around.
Great picks.
Solid thing.
Solid.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, we highly recommend that you watch it after the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
But Colin, you're number 4. What is it?
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh man! Wait, did you say it already? I had to put my earbuds down real quick. And...
No, we're just going right into it.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
It was Lilo and Stitch. Fantastic movie. It definitely started an amazing series of TV shows, because they had every TV show had its own theme, because every experiment had its own theme. And I just think it made it so much more fun that every TV show was completely different every episode was completely different from the last, because each one had its own place in the community, gave it its own theme, gave it its own like story arc, and then brought it all together for Stitch Has a Glitch and all that, and Leroy and Stitch, and like gave way to some fantastic movies. But Lilo and Stitch definitely just gave way to a fantastic series that I absolutely loved as a kid. Just all the Lilo and Stitch anything, I was enamored by it.
Yeah, it even kind of offered a bit of like it had like that kind of like supernatural-esque, like, oh, there's a new like almost like Scooby-Doo or whatever, like new monster of the week, and now we got to figure out a way to beat him.
Yeah. I also think the craziest thing is somehow Nani was 19 years old and was able to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I saw
She's
saw
got some
about that.
hustle.
I saw that like a picture quote about that actually recently. Just like looking,
Yeah.
it was like reflecting on her being 19 years old, taking care of Leela. All she wanted was just to provide for
And,
her,
like,
and that just makes it
honestly,
so
it
much more
happens.
deep.
It happens so often
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I think it probably hit other people who had that kind of an issue a little bit closer, because it was like,
I think
captured that dynamic that is in the world that involves, because it's like, in all, Lilo and Stitch is all about family and coming together and like understanding differences and stuff. So like, it was very cool to have a different dynamic with family and show how that how it changes life for people.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. Go on, Zach.
I think it even like so like whenever I watched it as a kid, like I think seeing like that like picture quote or whatever, seeing like hearing that now, I think it definitely like resonates with me even more because when I was younger, even I don't know if I knew she was 19, but even if I did, I definitely saw a 19-year-old in the same light I do as a 36-year-old right now.
Yeah, and I
Like
think
I
you still have to have that connotation that she's young because she's still her sister. So they have to be within like
yeah.
a decent age of each other for them to be sisters. So
Yeah, like I always thought Nani is so mature and so like in the same light as like my parents, like it was just like a super large gap of time, like
Yeah.
between them. You know what I mean? Like I mean, my mom, it's like, I mean, I guess that's representative of their age, but like my mom's like 10 years older than my youngest, and or maybe even more. I don't
I mean,
know.
that's how it is for my uncle and my mom. There's an 11-year age gap.
Yeah,
But I feel like Disney movies and Pixar movies have like that magic of being able to really like not I don't they don't make it obvious when they're trying to show different family dynamics, so it doesn't come off as like pandering. It comes off as in everyone is going through like different things in all of their
Right.
movies. Every like family, because a lot of their movies are family oriented, obviously all of them are different. None of them are
Yeah.
always just the same, like, and
and
everyone has their own story, and that's why I think it makes them like super unique.
I mean,
And-
honestly, some of my favorite moments were just Jumba and Stitch going back and forth at each other.
yeah,
Just
like
because,
that
like,
father son. It's even like a father son type of relationship.
yeah, like they have arguments, and it's like they both come to an understanding of what each other wants, but they're both still frustrated because, like, it is that like father son dynamic and like two families coming together, because then Jumba, Pleakley, Nani, and Lilo all come together to create this new family.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird moment of like you get to see all the dynamics by themselves, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then like that was the first time I think I ever saw like the whole comedic aspect of like maybe not in the first movie as much, but definitely like later on in like the different series, different movies and different series. But of like the Jumba and Bleakley, like, oh, they're new to Earth and like they are like like they're comprehending things like as an alien and not understanding certain like social norms that are like
Well,
for us.
I think that was the cool thing was Pleakley was a specialist of Earth, but it's still that like he
Yeah.
didn't have the actual grasp on Earth. Like that's why
Yeah.
that's the whole reason why he wanted to go to Earth, was because he wanted to you know see what happens. And everybody was kind of like in the Galactic Federation, they were like, Earth is like such a waste of time. Why would it's almost like saying, why would you only study one type of rock or
Yeah, well,
something
like
in
Blakely
our
was
world?
like he was like the fucking like writing major, or like you know what I mean?
Yeah, like he
What?
didn't do any, like his work was so unimportant to the Galactic Federation that like he just kind of existed as a joke to them.
Yeah,
And then like
It's kind of
he
like
was
an
just
Invader
like
Zim.
so happy because he saw humans as very complex creatures, and that's why he was so interested in Earth.
yeah. He's like a woman studies major. LOL. Hope you guys have been with us long enough to understand that I'm joking. In the comedy behind that.
Zach, I really didn't want to have to find a replacement.
That's
And
fine,
then
it's a
we can't
joke.
even forget
say it.
about Cobra Bubbles.
Cobra Bubbles.
Cobra
dude.
Bubbles.
Dude, I love the fucking the meme of Stitch like chucking a book at his skull. Oh man,
Dude,
that's
honestly,
great.
Stitch is he's fantastic.
I love Stitch as a character. He's awesome.
He's just a fantastic
So
character.
cool.
There really hasn't been anything like him.
Some
His
adorable, like, rabbit
fourth
animal.
arm, third and fourth arm.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
he's definitely, I don't know, you just have to kind of watch it if you haven't watched it. It's a fantastic movie. This was another movie that I watched constantly.
Yeah, I think it was it would definitely be in the top 5 of like my sister's Disney movies because they loved Lilo and Stitch as well. But to continue on with my number 4, boys, this is more of a kind of a more recent movie than Aladdin. It is Wreck-It Ralph. I say
Great
that
movie.
to hearing no applause, but
No,
Wreck-It
great
Ralph.
movie.
Yeah.
Fucking no.
I have not
fantastic
watched
movie.
Wreck-It
You
Ralph
have
yet.
not seen.
Fantastic
Are
movie.
you kidding me, Matt?
No.
All right. I don't want to be known now as the guy who doesn't watch movies if Matt hasn't seen Wreck-It Ralph.
Wait, you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph?
No.
But you watched the second one at my house.
Not true.
That is true.
I'll take things that are not true for 500, Alex.
I am pretty certain you were there, Matt.
No, he absolutely
I was
there.
not there,
I
actually.
am. I am
That-
pretty
Matt,
certain you were there.
I'm like
No.
95% sure that was the same. No, it wasn't the same night. Never mind.
Y'all are wrong.
But no, you were definitely there.
I was not. That just did not happen.
I don't know.
Well,
Jamie, can we get a check on that?
Give me the receipts. Give me the receipts.
I threw my receipts away after like 4 years. This is a long time. That was a while
Yeah,
ago
this
the
was,
movie came out.
2012.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
It's like-
No. Oh, I guess no.
Oh, I'm sorry, the
we
more
watched
recent
second one.
movie. I apologize.
The recent one was only 2 years ago.
yeah. But no,
Dude.
Wreck-It Ralph really like tied the childhood like cartoon animated movie and then of course just video games all together for me. I really liked that movie and it was just all around hilarious. And then of course, like as Matt said, it's a Disney movie. It hits you with the feels. You see how Ralph is just an outcast to every other hero, and he's not a bad guy, but he's a bad guy.
He's not
He just
the
has to
bad
go to
guy.
work as a bad guy.
You're a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy.
I loved Wreck-It Ralph just from like a gamer standpoint of like seeing all those different IPs like on screen interacting with each other and as if like they were sentient. I think was so cool.
Right.
Like dude, they had so many. Like they had Pac-Man, they had like Donkey Kong, they had all, and if they weren't like actually visibly shown on screen, they were talked about.
Yeah, it was kind of, they had a lot of Easter eggs because there's a lot of video game identities that are shown in that movie. It was kind of like when you look back at all the Easter eggs of cameos in like Ready Player One. There are so many more video game characters in there than you can even realize. And
Ready
I feel
Player
like
One
Wreck-It Ralph
is an
does
Easter
that.
egg.
Yeah, honestly.
Is an Easter egg.
Ready Player One's a fantastic movie, but
It
yeah.
is a good watch.
Wreck-It Ralph definitely in my top 5. It secures the number 4 spot. Matt, hit us with your number 4.
My number 4 is Tarzan.
Really?
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Oh,
Really?
shit.
Yeah, brother.
Tell us why.
Because it's just really good. Like it's I like it's very well animated. I like the fight scenes with like the cheetah and the gorillas and stuff. And I think that like the story of Tarzan is like really really interesting. I'm of course talking about the animated one, not the live action one.
I don't think I've seen the live.
I forgot they even made a live action
I
one.
skipped that one.
Dude,
I
the
enjoyed all the
soundtrack of
Tarzans.
Soundtrack
There was some bad bitch in the movie that like, almost got me to
Phenomenal.
watch it, but I
Jane?
didn't. Yeah, no,
Oh.
Jane was a bad bitch in the live action.
Oh, I don't know.
What?
Was it Brendan Fraser who played Tarzan? Am I wrong on that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was
Oh
that
no, that
Tarzan
was
or George of the Jungle?
that was George of the Jungle. It was Brendan Fraser.
Dude,
Oh,
George of the
shout
Jungle
out
is
to
a
George of the
fantastic
Jungle.
show.
Wow, I
George of the
forgot
Jungle
about that.
was
Honorable
a
mention
fantastic
for
animated
sure.
show too.
Wow.
George of the
Cartoon
Jungle was
Network,
Cartoon
wasn't it?
Network, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Was
That's
it not Disney?
No, it wasn't Disney. I'm pretty sure it was
No
Cartoon
shit.
Network.
I don't think so.
Because Disney would have just called it Tarzan.
I thought the movie was Disney.
Well, the
whatever,
the George of the Jungle movie.
Yeah, the actual live action. I swore that was Disney, but if not, then I guess unless there was a licensing deal. But now we're just getting off topic. Anyway.
Yeah, true.
Matt, tell us why. What up with Spider-Man with Tarzan?
I mean, it's almost
Same.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, honestly, let's be honest. It's just Spider-Man with less clothes and no spiders.
I really like it. I like that it has like a lot of action. Like a lot of Disney movies don't have the degree of action and stakes that Tarzan does. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean a whole race of apes or I guess beings isn't gonna get wiped
And like
out.
the whole leopard thing, like the leopards
Yeah, the
just-
leopard is a
just
recurring.
catching bodies left and right. It's just it's such a fun watch. And Tarzan's like really enjoyable to see his character grow.
Oh,
on
yeah.
screen.
Yeah. Talking about other things that
And then how it fits perfectly into the extended Disney canon that you sort of have to subscribe yourself to if you
I'm not
really
sure
want to
what you
go
mean.
deep.
I know what you mean, Matt.
So basically what happened is remember in Frozen when Elsa's parents disappear?
okay, I got you.
How they land on the island and
Yeah.
then
I got
Tarzan
you.
is their kid.
Yeah.
That's the Easter egg Disney hidden canon that they don't want you to know about, but you figure out anyways.
But you figure out anyways.
But really, what you find out is they teleported into the world of George of the Jungle.
Dude, Tarzan got dicked down by not having this ice fucking power or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had the power to hold vine in between his butt cheeks. So
He was basically superhuman.
yeah,
That does make him more of a spider than Spider-Man, honestly.
But
Spiders just, webs
actually,
out of the
does it? Because we're, as humans,
They're pretty
humans are
gross.
built we're designed to climb and
We're
hang
built
and swing
different.
from shit. So
We are
if
built
you
different.
grow up doing that, I would imagine it couldn't. You honestly, it probably wouldn't be hard to do what he does if you were raised from birth to do that stuff.
oh yeah.
I mean,
Probably
you know,
not.
Probably
you just-
not as
you
well
just
as
adapt to
an
their
ape
environment.
though.
Oh, I mean, no, for sure not. But I think you do it pretty well. I mean, look at gymnasts and those rope or the ribbon
The rope guys.
You know, those people who dance on silk and suspended in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just any creature in our world just adapts to their surroundings, just as evolution has shown. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, there's plenty of there's plenty of the world we haven't explored yet. You know, maybe there are people that are doing that, and that's Pog.
That's
There's
true.
not that much of the world
We all had a friend. I think we all had a friend. We all had a friend that was an amazing climber.
You're not wrong.
That kid might as well have been a monkey.
Yeah. Honestly, if you're just climbing, if you're you start on the jungle gym monkey bars, and then they're you see that tree, I'm gonna climb it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, this kid looked at trees and then was on top of it. He didn't even. It's almost like he had something he was able to morph into the tree and then just teleport to the top somehow. And then his little brothers were the exact same way.
It has to be genetic. There's
They
no
are
way.
all natural born climbers, and I don't understand how even at a young age those kids were climbing trees to the highest of heights.
But Matt, Tarzan, you're number 4. Solid pick.
You know it.
I hope. Wait, real quick though, have you watched George of the Jungle before?
No.
You have not. Oh, okay. You missed out.
Likes
on that part.
Tarzan, hates George of the Jungle.
I mean, honestly, let's be honest. George of the Jungle's a fire show, though. I was just curious if you've seen it. I forgot about it.
George of the Jungle's fantastic. Just to go off what we were talking about with Lilo and Stitch, Tarzan has a really healthy mini series that it has, as well as there's I forget what it's called, but he has one when he's a kid. That's a really good show too.
Oh yeah, that one was good.
Yeah. But
Zach.
Yo, what is good?
Number 4, bro.
My number 4 is Pirates of the Caribbean
Uh-huh.
Dot.
Which one?
On Strange Tides.
Never mind. All right, proceed. Tell us why.
Ron's about to roast you for your incorrect Pirates of the
I'm not
Caribbean
gonna roast
choice.
him. I was thinking he would choose the same one as me. Spoiler alert.
So On Strange Tides, like low key, it's like not even. It's like it feels more of like a spin-off series because it has absolutely nothing to do with the first three, and the stakes are arguably so much lower than the first three. But I think it's my favorite purely out of the fact that, like, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about like how I like really like adventure movies. It is an adventure movie. You start in the middle of England. It kind of does a good bit of world building in the sense that, like, this, I think, if I recall correctly, I'm sure Colin, you might know this better than me, but this is like kind of towards where like piracy is dying and like England's really starting to crack down on everything, and like this is right when like around when America is discovered. So this is like towards the back end of when piracy was like really like a huge thing going on. And they look for, I believe it's the Fountain of Youth. They look for the Fountain of Youth. So it is this huge adventure of like them consistently like searching for things, finding things. Like there's mermaids in it. It is a new cast of characters, but it's like I think part of the like it's not doesn't.
I mean, it's not really a new cast of characters,
right?
It's just they introduce a new villain.
Yeah, they introduce a new villain. I mean, it's like aside from Barbossa and Jack, there's really not anyone who's the same, you know.
Well, they also had I can't think of her name. I'll come back to that.
I got so scared. I thought I got like disconnected from the call.
Yeah, no. So like, I don't know. A pretty new cast of characters, I think. But yeah, I think like it deviates from its original like seriousness. I think like Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End, there is a lot like that is happening and riding on that movie and like the outcome of like the events in that movie. Like there's so much stuff, and I think I love that. I love that side of Pirates of the Caribbean. But it was really cool to see just like kind of a lighter take and like, hey, this is Jack, and he's just kind of doing some dumb Jack stuff.
Well, it's Jack is he's not just a pirate, he is like the literal definition of an adventurer. Yeah. Because all of the movies are something to do with like quests mythical sea things. So like you got like in the latest movie is the trident of
Aquaman.
Yeah, the trident of Aquaman, sure. The trident of Poseidon. You got the heart of Davy Jones. You got the fastest ship, which is the Curse of the Black Pearl. You got the Fountain of Youth. You got and the same thing with the Fountain of Youth. You also got Blackbeard.
Yeah.
And then you also have the Kraken. I mean, like they bring together all these mythological things, and Jack is seeking out all of these mythological things because he's a legitimate adventurer who's also just a pirate.
Dude, shout out to the Kraken and all the various forms it has taken over these years. Specifically the rum, though. Like, shout out to Kraken Rum. Can we get sponsored by Kraken? I'd love that.
For a hot second, for some reason, I thought you said crack and rum, and I was like, we can get sponsored by one of those things.
Yeah, and it's crack.
It's probably easier to get sponsored by crack before rum, like as a conglomerate that rum is.
Okay, all right.
But, did you call crack a conglomerate?
No, like that's what I'm saying. But yeah, no. So I love Pirates of the Caribbean for that. I'm not like arguing it's the best Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that there's for sure, like critically, like 2 and 3, and 1 are like better like movies than 4. But I think 4 is just my favorite. Just because it's easy, it's fun, it's just a good watch. But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean as a whole, phenomenal series. I think gets credit, but not as much as it deserves. Especially like when from some of the stuff I've seen about like like the grimoire type stuff of like the actual reason why Jack is a pirate and like all that stuff and like the stuff Jack has done and like the background.
Well, the books about him being a child was pretty good.
I didn't even know there were books.
Oh, I read them whenever I was in like 4th grade. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's really good. There's definitely room to build on Pirates of the Caribbean, especially for like starting as like a ride in Disney, in like OG Disneyland, instead of an actual thing. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. It's awesome, great. Highly recommend the entirety of the series, but I think the 4th one is my favorite. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, great pick. You'll be hearing about Pirates of the Caribbean from my perspective later in the podcast. But Colin, we're now at number 3. What's your number 3, Colin?
Number 3.
Top 3.
We got Stanley Yelnats in Holes.
Yo, Holes is so good.
Holes was fantastic. Whenever I was very young, my mom read me the book, and the movie, you know, I think the movie still did a fantastic job at still capturing the book. And me and my mother would watch Holes all the time whenever I was a kid. All the time. It was a fantastic movie. I mean, I don't know much else because it was just so fantastic that I really, it just definitely captured me into it. Plus, like, all the memories of, like, you know, watching it with family, and like it always became like a tradition to watch Holes. You know, we would watch. I forget exactly like why we did it because I was young at the time. Right. But I just remember there were certain like weeks that we would just have like we would just all get together and watch Holes and stuff. Like it was good.
Holes is a phenomenal show.
I know I've seen Holes. I cannot recall the movie though. I remember seeing it like on Disney Channel.
I'm in the same boat as you, Ron. I watched it like I was too young. Long ago.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a hot minute.
I remember it being good.
Yeah, I don't recall it being a bad movie by any standard.
Oh, okay. So, Colin, I think I'm more similar to you. Like, I loved Holes. Like, if it was on, I remember making a point to try to watch it.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Like, and like that was like something I remember. There were times where there was a handful of Disney movies that my dad would actually sit there and watch with me. Not from like a, hey, Dad, will you watch this with me? But like from like a, I had it on and he just ends up sitting there and watching it. Holes was one of the few movies that actually happened. Like, I would say Holes is one of the few non-like big Disney movies that actually happened with. I remember the bearded dragons that they use as like these poisonous lizards in that show.
Yeah.
I demonized in my brain when I was a youth to the point that like when I was trying to buy, I wanted a bearded dragon as a pet. I did not even connect the two, and it wasn't until like I saw like a picture, or if I saw if I actually went back and watched it, that all they use is just a bunch of bearded dragons, which are like the least like aggressive lizard you could get. To my knowledge.
I think the biggest thing was they were all kids, so like everything was one of those, you know, folk tales in a sense. Like everything was made up, like, you know, like somebody was killed in the school bathroom and that's why they blocked off this part. Like that's what it was to them.
Movie. No, they were poisonous in the movie.
But what I'm saying is like to them, like they were this like dangerous, like that was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like they were even worse than what they should have been. You know what I mean? Because the kids played it up and like they became the Kraken in a sense. Like they were just like everything was this folktale. Like I don't know how to explain it, but everything that's just how the series was. It was a bunch of kids that were sent to this like prison in a sense, and they just made up stories.
But in the movie, they were poisonous.
I understand that. Yeah, they were
dangerous.
They were, yeah. But
it's like a rattlesnake.
Yeah, but they definitely made them a lot worse than they were supposed to be.
I mean, maybe, but like, wasn't the main character chased down like the alley that he was running by one?
Well, he was covered in them at the end, and
Right.
like he was able to like leave them perfectly fine. They definitely made them a lot worse than they were supposed to be.
That was because of the onions, though. Because they ate the onions,
I mean,
and they didn't fuck with the onions. They didn't like the onions.
sure.
I don't know, chat. What do you think?
But yeah, Holes for number 3, Colin. I say it's a good pick. I don't have
That's
too many
fun.
memories of it. I remember that movie like being the talk at the time too.
The talk of the town.
The talk
Well,
of
I
the
think
town.
didn't the reading class
Yeah,
have to read it?
yeah, that's also
if you're one of them dumb kids.
okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I don't
I
think
say that as I've been like going to special reading classes all the way up to like 4th grade.
True.
I mean, he also says it as if it's not true.
What grade was that we read Holes? I'm trying to remember.
I never
read
read
Holes.
like 3rd grade.
Because according to
I did
school,
not
I
read
was one of them smart
school.
kids.
Got you. Because I don't remember reading it, but I also didn't really remember reading like any of the books I ever
I
actually
did
had
not
to read
read
in
Holes.
school.
That and The Outsiders, I believe.
I probably would have read Holes, to be honest.
Outsiders was 7th grade.
I didn't read that in school.
No,
I also think every teacher in elementary school had their own little thing going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
that's for
That is
sure.
true. That is true.
For sure.
They subscribed to their own.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Anywho,
Holes is Colin's number 3. My number 3.
Who
Zach.
asked you, by the way? No one cares.
yo,
Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Man Tell No Tales.
Dead Man Tell No. That honestly is a solid movie.
It's
That's
a
probably the one I'd pick.
solid
Yeah,
movie.
it's great. The fucking fight in the wheel, awesome.
The fight on
Awesome.
the mill wheel
It's
is
awesome.
fantastic.
Dude,
Such a good movie.
guys, just like the cinematography, the choreographication. I don't know the way the fights are choreographed. I remember, I remember watching like the commercials like in between Disney shows when I was younger, and like they would have like the making of these things, and it was so cool. It was awesome.
I
And,
love
to
when
see how they did that.
Yeah, I love whenever I feel like that really stuff like that on Disney really helped like inspire kids to want to do that. Like when they're older, like work for
absolutely.
Disney. I don't understand. I mean, maybe it's still a thing. I don't really watch Disney Channel or cable in general, but I feel like
I
that
don't think they do
should
that.
be a thing if it's not.
I don't think Disney has made a show to like a movie to the span that Pirates of the Caribbean.
I guess you're right, but even so, but yeah, Dead Man Tells, fantastic. Flying Dutchman, I just love like that plot line of that movie.
Flying Dutchman was
I
great,
thought it was
yeah.
really good. But yeah, I overall, and as you said with your pick too, the Pirates of the Caribbean, all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies that I've seen are fantastic. The only one I haven't seen is the most recent one. Excuse me, but they're all very enjoyable to watch. Johnny Depp is a fantastic actor, of course, as you should know. Let's be honest. But all of them are just very fun and enjoyable to watch. Any of your picks of it being your favorite, honestly, I can understand for a lot of reasons. I just like Dead Man Tell No Tales the most. That's why I place it at my number 3. Matt.
I think.
Oh yeah, Colin or Zach. Some?
Yeah, it's just a kind of fun anecdote. My parents, they took a. Oh, I don't even know when this. I think this was after my dad beat cancer. They went down to the Bahamas for like honestly like half a month. But while they were down there, they were filming. I forget. I think Pirates of the Caribbean 2 or 3. And they were talking to like an on stage or like an on set medic. And they saw the Black Pearl like in the harbor. Well, not in the harbor, but like out because you can't dock the Black fucking Pearl in the harbor.
Right,
But,
right.
like, it was out at sea, so they actually saw the actual Black Pearl, and they were talked to the like the on-set medic, which is kind of cool.
You said this was in where? The Caribbean?
Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Yeah, the Bahamas. Okay. Yeah, they filmed it all in the Caribbean. I don't think you could film. I don't think that movie would be nearly as good if they didn't film it in the Caribbean.
I mean, true. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like a lot of people would probably be pissed if they found out Pirates of the Caribbean was not filmed in the Caribbean. It was filmed in some like studio. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of
Europe.
I was dumbfounded when I was told Star Wars wasn't filmed in space. You know.
I mean, there was a lot of it that was still filmed in the studio, but
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But they got what they needed. They got what they needed out in the Caribbean.
I definitely think a lot of people had. I think just people had negative reactions to it for a lot of reasons that.
Let's talk about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Do people have negative reactions?
Yeah, people had a lot of negative Pirates of the Caribbean after the Curse of the Black Pearl really got terrible reviews.
What? Fuck those guys.
People really didn't like Pirates of the Caribbean. But it's not that people didn't like it. Usually the critics were the ones giving it absolutely terrible reviews.
Yo, chat, review bomb the reviewers. Okay.
It's a fantastic movie. It's just, I think critics, they were like, oh, the second film, it just plays on the first film. And it's like, that's the whole point.
I mean, yeah, what?
It's sorry, this was supposed to be a giant story that, spans tons of films. That's kind of the whole point, that it's playing off the first film. And they were just like, oh, it seems like it's just a bunch of stuff we've already seen before. And I'm like, when have you seen the freaking Flying Dutchman?
Dude, I remember them talking about in those same Disney things, explaining all the cannons and shit on the Flying Dutchman. Sick.
It's fantastic. It is one of those movies that is just a great adventure movies.
It's phenomenal.
And
I love it.
Introduces you to this amazing world that you can just imagine yourself being in.
Yeah, I agree. Anywho,
Matt, number 3. Where are we?
My number 3 is Mulan.
No way.
It is.
Now here's my question: did your cheap ass buy the Disney Premier Access?
No, not that garbage fire communism propaganda that they just released. The good one with Eddie Murphy. That's the one that we like.
Dude, I love Mulan.
Is Mushu in the live action?
I have chosen to ignore it.
I have no idea. I feel like I heard he wasn't.
I think really you might be right on that, Zach. I feel like I
isn't in. Well. How do you have Mulan?
My lady says that. My lady says that he is not in the new movie.
That is ridiculous. That is an assault on everything that is pure.
I mean, he's practically half the movie, which I can't believe they didn't include them. But dude, I think it was just they needed to take a woman's stance and show, how powerful a woman can be.
Dude, but he fucks her up at this point. All the time. He fucks with her. He tells her all the wrong things.
Yeah, no, I think I don't understand why they couldn't include him. They could have even included him as an animated actual dragon in a sense.
Yeah,
they didn't have to make him some fairy looking dragon kind of thing.
If we can get a CGI Will Smith genie, we can definitely get a fucking Mushu with Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah, 130,000%.
I'm mad, but that's not what we're talking about here, folks.
I feel like we watched Mulan in school at some point, right? Middle school, I think.
Maybe middle school.
Maybe for fun. I don't think.
I think we watched it for
no educational purpose at all.
I think we watched it for one of those days where they were like, "All right, we're just gonna take a break today," and they aired it on the school TV,
or just or the substitute teacher was in for the week.
No, we're not doing that. And you're like, "Fuck you, Mrs. Giles."
No, honestly, those middle school teachers all had sticks up their butts.
Dude, they did.
Middle school. We're not talking about middle school right now, but all it's just not. That's a top 5 episode.
Top 5 worst moments. The entire thing.
This will be a part of our spin-off podcast we do at some point of just.
Also, I got a new idea in the eyes of everything we've been talking about. Top 5 Disney characters, I think would be really cool. Chat, let us know what you think about that. Anyway,
all of them are probably going to be the same as my movies, just the stars of those movies.
But Matt, you probably have more to say about Mulan, and I feel like we've derailed you a little bit. So go ahead. You have a solid 5 minutes to speak your truth.
You do not get that much time. You get 2 seconds.
Just on soundtrack alone,
that's a great soundtrack.
Mulan is up there.
Get down
the songs
to business.
are amazing.
Songs
And
are a
just,
lot
like,
of fun.
The story's it's very unique in the Disney canon. Like they definitely took a lot of risks with like the setting and like the events that are going on. Like I don't think there's really a movie that sort of emulates it. Like I know you could go to like the newer films and maybe say that they follow the quote unquote Disney formula and are like predictable. Like I think Big Hero 6 is that to a degree, but it's just really well made. So I can like look past it. It's just very different.
And it also helped diversitize the Disney princess cast also.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And
Like
even
when-
But Bae Jasmine for sure did it too.
you're not wrong. And like Ron, I mean, Girls Get It Done.
Girls Get
Mulan
It
was
Done.
the original Girls Get It Done.
That Mulan was the original Girls Get It Done. If you don't know what we're referring to, everyone, you need to watch The Boys. We're referring to season 2, so binge season 1 to get to season 2. But Girls Get It Done.
Girls do get it
That's
done.
not even, I mean, let's be honest, it's just a fact of life. But in terms of cinema, girls also do get it done.
It's definitely one of the earliest examples of like them giving like
right,
a
like
woman that type of
empowerment.
role, I think,
Yeah.
which I think is cool.
Absolutely. It's not the standard, like, lost glass slipper type of
I think
movie.
it could also be a movie for transgender people in some degree. Maybe not. I don't think they made it for that,
Maybe.
or it really even does that. But I think it can.
I think it depends on.
I think there might. Granted, I don't know, but like I think there might be something there if like that person wants to take something from it or feels that there is. But maybe I'm just overstepping. I don't know.
There is a conversation to be had, but we're not the people to say that is the thing.
No,
Yeah.
we ain't.
Maybe the live action might take a different turn of it, but I doubt it. But
I doubt it.
you know
It
what I
sounds
mean?
like a
Times
don't know.
change. They do kind of update that.
Disney is playing more of a supervillain role these last couple years.
Last
So
couple years.
Well, we've all seen South Park and how Disney is run with Mickey Mouse. So
Dude, dude, that
Oh man,
pandemic
when I watched the
special.
COVID special, I wasn't caught up in the
It
South
was
Park
so-
canon.
Oh,
I was a little confused whenever the whole Mickey Mouse thing was going on, but it was so amazing.
It's awesome.
anyway, recommend the
Who's
pandemic
next?
special of South Park. But Zach, you are next.
I'm next.
With your number 3. Yeah, Matt, then you.
My number 3 is Treasure Planet. I feel like I kind of said we already talked about what I wanted to say about it, but yeah, Treasure Planet's my number 3. We can move on.
Okay. Colin, number 2.
Number 2, it's gonna have to be National Treasure.
Really?
Dude, that almost made
National Treasure is a fantastic movie.
It is
Nat-
a national
National
treasure.
National Treasure's like my number 6, probably.
It's a phenomenal movie.
National Treasure was one of those things that, again, me and the extended family would always be watching. Like we came together and we would say, okay, so this week we're all gonna watch together National Treasure, and we would watch the entire. I mean, at first it was just National Treasure, and then eventually, as they came out with more movies, it became okay. Now we're gonna watch the series of movies, and it was
Dude.
just so much fun. Like those movies, I still enjoy Nicolas Cage. I'm not gonna say that he's like the best actor in the world, but I still enjoy him.
He's a good actor. He's a good
Noir
actor.
Spider-Man isn't what? What are you talking about? I think he's a good actor.
I
No,
think
he is
he's
a
I think he's a
face-off, dude.
perfectly fine
Face Off is
actor,
a phenomenal movie.
and I think it was a fantastic
Face-Off.
movie.
I don't know if Face Off is the bar you want to set for being a good actor. He just takes bad roles.
Alright,
Yeah, I think
that's fair.
he's been in movies that weren't fantastic.
That's fine. That's fair.
And sometimes that just ends up like defining the person's career in other people's eyes too.
Yeah.
Like one bad movie can be really bad
He
for
also,
someone's career.
I
mean,
feel
what
like he
was it,
also got hurt by being memed for no reason, like with
Yeah.
that face.
It's just because he's very
Yeah.
animated.
John
Yeah.
Travolta was considered a bad actor for a very long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely a weird thing on John Travolta.
I mean, hell, Dwayne Johnson was Tooth Fairy, and
Dude, which also honorable mention. Tooth Fairy almost. I really thought about it for a little bit.
Is Tooth Fairy a Disney movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They made a second one too with Larry the Cable Guy. I've never seen it, and honestly,
Oh my God.
I don't even know if I want to. But
I have no.
Yeah, that was a few years later.
yeah,
Any more thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, a few thoughts. I forget what movie.
Keep thinking.
About, to be honest, we got so off track. Oh, National Treasure. Treasure. Yeah. Yeah. No. That another like Back to the Holes thing. Like, National Treasure was another movie. Me and my father like. I know my dad. Like my mom. She would do like when I was younger. She kind of watch anything with me. Like my dad would, if it was on, he would watch. And when the second one came out, it wasn't the, hey, mom, dad, I want to go see this movie. Can we go see this movie? When can we go see this movie? It was like, hey, mom, dad, this movie's out. And my dad was like, what are we doing later? You know?
Yeah.
So, great movie. The only really complaint I have about National Treasure is the fact that they left us on that fucking big-ass cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
We never know what's on the book.
Movie. We will never know what's on page 42. I'm so mad about it. And you know
There's
what?
been rumors that we were getting a third for like years. It's probably just never gonna happen.
Dude, I really thought once it was getting memed and like things were picking up, I was like, maybe we will.
Honestly, with the way Disney's been going, I wouldn't be surprised if they like just do like the kids.
What are you talking about?
Nick Cage is young enough to do it.
I mean, yeah, but they might just be like, okay, now like they all had kids and they're all coming together again.
I can see it, but like at the end of the first movie, dude, that house, dude, fuck me. That's like a Laura Croft
like,
manor
they only got
Oh my
5% or something ridiculous.
Dude, yeah. It's crazy. It's
the
crazy.
Laura Croft mansion is absolutely insane.
It's crazy. If you haven't played the third newest Tomb Raider, then
Highly recommend it.
It's good. I wouldn't highly recommend it. If you have time and you want to buy it, do it.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Any more thoughts on Colin's pick? On his number 2?
I'm good. Awesome.
All right, cool.
We'll steal that.
Yeah. To move on to me, this is a movie I haven't. I saw it as a kid. I know I did, but I didn't really watch it again until college, which makes it into my top 5, and that would be The Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor's New Groove is fantastic. The series was even better.
It's so
that
good.
movie so
Shout out
much.
to David Spade.
Emperor's New Groove is fantastic.
That is. Oh man, I honestly want to watch it again. Like I think about the movie sometimes. The soundtrack is amazing. The characters are amazing. The comedy is just amazing. It's so good.
I think people like a lot of times people want to point to like movies that we grew up with, and like that's the reason like our generation is like cynical or like we have like a certain type of humor. I think Emperor's New Groove encapsulates that specific thing that people talk about so perfectly.
Yeah. It exemplifies it, dude. You can watch that with a bunch of like college friends, but like you'd all have that same humor just because you basically grew up with it. I didn't really watch the series. If I did, it was just casual watching.
The series was really good.
I think I just casually watched it if it was on.
It was The Emperor's New School or some shit like that.
Emperor's New School. The TV series was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a dumb name, but a great TV series.
Because it literally just did everything the movie did into a series.
Yeah, it was awesome. And
they just kept it the same.
Cleverly.
Oh yeah. They didn't change anything, which is like what they should usually do with those kinds of things. Don't start changing things up.
They didn't even need him to be a llama, but if I recall, there was one episode where like he turned back into a llama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then turned back into a llama.
Dude,
Krunk is the best. That's like half the reason that you watch that TV series.
His own movie too. Crunk's New Groove is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I love the memes from Emperor's New Groove, specifically the one where it's like how I write my papers. It's like Cusco's poison, the poison designed for Cusco, the Cusco's poison, otherwise known. The poison that was for Cusco.
Dude,
I love it. It's great.
Love Krunk.
It's great.
I think about Krunk sometimes.
Speak squirrel. What more could you want in the movie?
Oh yeah, the squirrel definitely. That squirrel dynamic was easily some of the best.
It was the most like random weird thing that could possibly be in a movie, but it was amazing,
dude.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, I think we all can all agree Emperor's Groove, as we did, is a fantastic movie. Deserves the
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Man, I'll watch it with you again. I'll watch it, honestly. Have a
I'll
great
be
time.
down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Netflix or Disney Plus watch party, is that a thing?
Absolutely.
I mean, we can make it a
can
thing.
be a thing. Hello. Yeah.
Just like-
Absolutely. But yeah,
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
the
when I
TV
watched
show.
it in college, it was on at Mit One. I mean, I bought it, huh?
Oh,
and then,
man.
but it's on.
I gotta
Disney
pour
Plus.
one out for Mid One, dude.
Yeah, pour one out for a Mit One.
Dude, really.
Disney
Yeah.
took that shit down as soon as their streaming service came up.
I don't even know what it was, but like, actually, that does check out.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's my number 2. Matt, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is The Lion King.
Yo, The Lion King.
The Lion
Honestly, a
King.
little surprised
So
we haven't
good.
talked about it yet, but I guess I'm also not surprised because it's such a good movie that it would be so high on everyone's list.
There's still
I don't even know if it made your guys' list, but like,
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
what is there to say about The Lion King that hasn't already been said? Everyone's
Yeah.
seen it like 1,000 times.
I
It's a
tell you what,
classic
man.
film.
The new version of Lion King gets a lot of flack for not being as animated.
CGI
as,
one?
Yeah. I love the CGI version of
I
the
heard
Lion
it was
King.
great.
The animated is great, but
yeah,
the CGI
for
version is
sure.
fantastic. I think it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think it looks beautiful. It was the same people who did Jungle Book.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah. Or Kevin Feige, is that his name?
it
John
is-
Favreau.
I have
Wow.
no clue.
It is
Yeah,
Jon Favreau.
Favreau did
It
that.
is ridiculously realistic, and I can
Yeah.
never get over it. That was the first, like when I got my TV, it was 4K HDR, and that was available on Disney Plus. Was that movie in HDR 4K? Is the first thing I watched because I
Yeah.
wanted to see just how good it would actually look like on a true, like my own personal TV.
I'll tell you
I love
what.
that movie.
I'll tell you what. I love how they like cast all black actors and everything like that. Like for the lines and everything.
Oh, the casting was A1.
It was
Honestly, the
awesome,
play was
and
fantastic.
I love the voice of Scar, but low key, there's something about it.
Wasn't
that,
Scar?
like-
Scar was James Earl Jones, right? Or no, he was because he's
that was
Mufasa. He's Mufasa in the original.
There's something about it. Like whenever I saw Scar, Jeremy Irons' voice of Scar, I think for me is so iconic.
Yeah, he's
That
great.
like,
in everything.
like I'm not gonna say like it was the whoever I forget who actually voice acted for him. Phenomenal Scar. But I think it was just I was so used to like aside from Mufasa, I think Mufasa and
Mikasa Sukasa.
Scar had such a distinctive voice in that like growing up and watching it so much that it was weird to hear Mufasa being James Earl Jones and then hear Scar and him not be Jeremy Irons or Jeffrey Irons. Is it Jeremy or Jeffrey?
Jeremy.
I'm
Jeremy?
not
Yeah.
too sure. I'm
I don't
horrible with
know.
actor names.
AKA the newest Alfred. Until we see this new thing Robert Pattinson's done.
If that ever comes to fruition,
Dude, if better. I'm here for it. I'm ready.
he's gonna be a great Batman.
I think he can be. I think he can be until, I really get my acting career off the ground. But
True. I'll see.
I mean, aren't
Zach.
you like 5'3"? I don't know if they're really looking for someone like you.
And 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Dude,
800
those
pounds.
boots, dude,
800 pounds, 5'3".
those boots add some
Some
add some height, that suit, it's tight enough, it'll hold it all in.
So you'll be like, what, 5'9"?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Camera, dude, Tom Cruise is like what, 5'3"? He's
Maybe
fine.
like 5'6".
5'3". Tom Cruise is not 5'3".
Tom
Dude,
Cruise is
I'm-
4'4".
I'm pretty sure I'm taller than Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is like really small.
I know, but 5'3".
Tom Cruise is 4'4".
Is he?
Bruno Mars is
No,
like
actually.
5'8".
Yeah.
My man is
Yeah.
short.
Well, yeah, you saw the picture with him and Taylor Swift like on
Yeah,
Twitter.
dude.
It's
Taylor
hilarious.
Swift lanky though. she could
Taylor
probably,
Swift is so
She's
lame.
tall,
She
but then
could
the
probably,
high heels and everything too just
She could probably
adds
dunk on me.
so much.
She could probably dunk on me. Yeah, but Lion King. Matt, for me, Lion King.
It's just for me. It's
I
gotta be
think-
Zach, if this is a spoiler, we can.
goat soundtrack. Goat
Spoiler.
soundtrack.
Goat soundtrack, fantastic soundtrack. Also, another idea for a top 5 episode. Disney soundtracks, I think would be cool. But, I think Lion King, especially after seeing like the new version of it and also rewatching the original, I think the original definitely is better. I think.
For sure. But I think that's just because we grew up with it as people.
Yeah, and there were certain lines, I forget what they are now, but there were certain lines that they altered in the new version that I was like, no. Oh, the pit. Dude, Pumbaa's line, whenever, like, they're like, oh, what, some the pig. And when he goes, they call me Mr. Pig, and they got rid of that line, I couldn't believe it. That was such a good line. But yeah, so aside from that, for me, going back and rewatching Lion King, maybe it was just the time I was in, about to graduate college and everything, but I feel like it had a really good symbolism of like kind of life in the way it works, or way it works, like kind of like the stages of life, people go through. Because when I was a kid, I remember watching it and, like, you know, just seeing it and taking it for kind of face value. It is what it was. But when I went back and rewatched it as somebody who was about to graduate college, seeing Simba, specifically, like, have, like, you know, the tragedy of, like, seeing his father die and, like, feeling responsible for that. His time with Timon and Pumbaa, I think for me, was really similar to, like, the idea of, like, college. And, like, going off and, like, kind of doing your own thing and figuring yourself out. Yeah, he's, like, not being very healthy about it. He's definitely running from, like, his problems and all, and, like, kind of finding ways to cope with it. But in the end, he comes out of that and becomes a really good king, and exactly what Pride Rock needs and, like, the Pride Lands needs. I think that like is really kind of beautiful in that sense, and that's not something I got from it. I think I got it mainly just from everything I was, like, dealing with at the time. So maybe this is just only me that, like, really, like, feels this way, but I felt like, because, like, seeing him as a kid, happy-go-lucky, I'm gonna be king, I'm gonna be this great thing, this is, like, all I want, and, like, this is my, like, legacy, like, this is what I am, I'm the greatest there ever was. To have that tragedy, him lose himself, and I think that's representative in the movie, in the way that, like, the Pride Lands are, like, open. It's not the it's the savannah. It's the savannah. It's all open. It's very clear. You can see everything and everything like that. When he runs away, he enters the jungle where everything's like, you can't see very far. Everything's beautiful and bright colors and all that stuff. And he loses himself almost. He loses that version of himself. He gets lost for a while, and then he ends up coming back and becoming what he said he would, but arguably he wouldn't have been that if it wasn't for that time away, or that time to, you know, kind of explore himself and, like, do what he had to do to, like, I guess, cope with what he was dealing with.
And also that Scar wanted absolutely no witnesses. So Mans would have been mauled. I mean, he did run away, but he was literally chased away too. Like, not even,
dude,
you know what I mean?
Like, all
like,
I'm
he
saying
could not go back.
Is I don't think the Lions had any forensicists. Scar could have just did a quick swipe right there next to his dad, but, you know, I get it. You know, doesn't want to get his hands bloody. It's a lot easier to say hyenas killed the prince rather than, well, I don't.
Well, wildebeest, the ones that ran him over, you know? Could have just
Mufasa, yeah. That is the king, not the prince. There's a difference between killing a prince and a king, Ron.
Oh, I know. Sorry. I thought you were referring to Mufasa. That's my fault.
Nah. Long live the king.
Oh, you good though, bro?
You good, bro?
Yeah, that's about all I have to say. It's phenomenal.
Good, innit, bro?
Great movie.
Yeah, Matt, anything else you wanted to say about The Lion King that hasn't already been said?
Zach summed it up very nicely.
Okay, good.
Cheers.
Good. Zach.
Cheers, love.
Yo.
Number two.
Yo. Number two, Wreck-It Ralph.
Really?
I love Wreck-It Ralph.
Good job. Good pick.
I love Wreck-It Ralph. I think like for the reasons I kind of previously said, I love how it like encapsulates all like kind of video games, it does a really good job at like world building like that. I love like the way it I forget if I said this before, but I love the way it kind of designs, like it creates a way for these characters to interact as if like the video game is their job, and like everything else after that they can travel to different games, they can do what they want. It's like not a big deal. That's what I really like that about Wreck-It Ralph. I like Ralph's journey as far as like he's a bad guy, not wanting to be a bad guy, but
He's
also
a
that's kind of the
bad
role he was
guy.
pegged with.
It's
And
just his job to be a bad guy.
it's his job, and I think it kind of speaks a little more volume to the fact that like even though people think you're a bad person or think you are what you like, maybe not a bad person, but like think you are X, Y, and Z, just because that's what the role you play, or that's what
Well, I also don't know
you
if
don't
this
have
is
to
like,
be.
it could have been an ode to old Hollywood with like Western movies, and like the moment that you became the villain, your career was over.
Yeah,
So like usually people whose careers were ending or over, they became the villain of the Western.
right.
So yeah, I don't know if it was exactly an ode to that, but it might have been, and that would have been a cool little Easter egg if there's any proof behind that.
I think so, but who's to say?
Yeah, I really don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
really paid too much attention to Easter eggs with Wreck-It Ralph.
Unless it's in Call of Duty Zombies. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like other than that, I've pretty much said everything I need to say about Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. I mean, fantastic movie. Sequel is also amazing. That one hits
I think
tugs
it's
on the
really
heartstrings
good.
a lot more.
I don't think it's as good, and if I'm being honest, I never saw it fully sober, so that's something I probably need to go to. But Mrs. Gal Gadot is in it, so goddamn, if it ain't the best Disney movie there ever was, I don't know.
Oh man.
I mean,
You don't know how I feel about Gal, but well, you all know how I
Any
feel about
gals
Gal.
in chat?
Chat. If you don't know, Gal Gadot is the biggest perfection that God has ever created. And it pains me that she is not only so much older than me that it wouldn't be possible, but also she's married and has kids.
Yeah, well,
really do be like that.
sometimes the goalie's not in net, Zach. But but yeah, so great pick for number 2. I mean, that was my number 4. So
I don't think she's in the position to need to pull her goalie run. But anyway.
no, of course. But now, fellas, we're at the number 1 seeding for our top 5 list. Colin,
fabulous.
lead us into it.
All right, number 1 is something that we've discussed plenty of times so far. It would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Number 1. He's gonna say number 1. He's gonna say Chris.
Oh, I'm hyped.
Curse of the Black Pearl.
He is.
Curse of the Black Pearl is what brought us the series, and not only that, is arguably the best one and my absolute favorite one.
It's good.
I am, when it comes to pirates, to keep this a little bit more PG, they are my absolute favorite type of like theme.
I mean, it started at number 5 and is now your number 1.
I can confirm that is true.
Yeah.
It is my favorite theme. I will put it above
great.
so many things. If it
You mean, like,
means
the music
if it means
theme?
winning in
Like-
Magic, I will play pirates instead.
Okay.
If it means, if it means liking a terrible series according to critics, then I'm going to put it there because pirates are fantastic and I think it was a fantastic series.
And even
agree.
even like pirate movies and video games in general have that all like style of recurring soundtrack that is really good.
Like the drums.
Dun, 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 dun. It's one of the most iconic sounds. The main theme.
Oh,
of Pirates of the Caribbean.
1000%.
And honestly, not even like something that made Assassin's Creed 4 so much more, it felt so much better to me, was because I was such a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, and having those legendary ships off into the distance kind of made it feel like it was Pirates of the Caribbean as well. So like, I am just such a huge fan of pirates. This movie was fantastic. The initial fight scene in the like blacksmith mill kind of thing.
Good.
Fantastic.
It's a good one.
Fantastic.
Orlando Bloom, the only movie I think I've ever seen Orlando Bloom star in, even though when he entered Pirates was like the biggest deal.
Yeah, I mean, it is genuinely just an amazing movie with all kinds of they hit it off with amazing pirate lore like immediately.
Yeah.
They're just like, bam, here's some amazing pirate lore, and you go, wow, this is so much fun already.
Yeah. For those of y'all who haven't seen, and I honestly don't even know if you know this, Ron or Matt, I would imagine you do, Colin. But the reason Jack was branded a pirate was because he was hired to ship slaves to a certain location and set them free instead. And that's why he was branded a pirate, because he stole cargo, quotation marks.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And from a young age, he was very much like, he spent his time on all kinds of ships. Like that's what the books are about, is like him just being on ships with like I think it starts off with like the English Navy.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've read these books, so do not quote me whatsoever, but it's him talking to these captains and all the adventures that he's been on. So like, you know that this man, the reason he's on ships is because he wants to see the amazing world that he's heard about.
Yeah.
And I think that just is what makes his character so much fun. Like, sure, you know, all of the little drunken like comedy bits they have and stuff. Yeah,
Why
that's
is the rum
fun.
always gone? Something I didn't vibe with harder until I hit
the
college.
Jack Sparrow that was brought to us is definitely. Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't even going to be about Jack Sparrow. It was going to be about just like almost like what the ride was about. They were just going to make a movie about the ride, and then Johnny Depp brought this character to life.
Yeah.
Literally during one of the scenes they were filming, he did something silly, and they were like, "Okay, now we have to rewrite the whole movie."
I don't know about that.
No, that's exactly what happened.
I just don't know.
Yeah, he did something silly, and the director liked it so much they completely changed up the movie for Johnny Depp.
That's awesome. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
But going off what I said about the slave thing, Ron, I don't know if you picked up on this, but I think the World's End or something, there actually is a line where he's talking to like the admiral or whoever is controlling Davy Jones, and they're like, and he says something along the lines of like, "Oh, you wouldn't be in this position if you just did your fucking job," and Jack says to him like, "Oh, like people aren't cargo." Or if you just delivered the cargo, he says, and he's like, people aren't cargo. And that's like the allusion to like why he's a pirate.
Gotcha.
It's very easy to miss. Very, very easy to miss.
Yeah, I missed it. So,
yeah.
Yeah, Colin, great pick. How would you, now Zach and my pick, how would you feel about those? Like, do you think
I think those were accurate. I think if we were doing Pirates of the Caribbean, like, I definitely would have put those in the like exact order that you had them in.
Interesting. Well, that's good. I came into the series obviously late, as I do most things.
I do think I do think that at World's End was really good. I think World's End brought in a lot of amazing lore that, like, you know, Calypso actually being freed is so much fun. And like talking about why Calypso was even imprisoned in the first place is what makes it even more fun.
For sure.
I don't know. It honestly just like all that lore from like all the lore from all different cultures brought into one giant movie is what made it so much fun.
Also, never mind.
Because I'm somebody who, you know, my favorite games are typically based off of the ones that have the deepest lore, because I play my games to the furthest extent. I will check every corner. I will read every book, you know. So
I don't know if this
things that have deep lore are my favorite things.
I don't know if this carries any weight, but Jack Sparrow was my main in Disney Infinity until I built out my collection. So,
well, fun fact: after this movie came out, I was Jack Sparrow for Halloween.
Hey.
It was
You.
probably my best costume because my mother spent a lot of time on it and making it real. Because she didn't buy, like, my mother has never actually bought a costume for me from the costume stores because they're cheap and gross. So she
Facts.
always made the costumes, and this costume was genuinely, so my mother used to make dresses, like wedding dresses back in the day, for her college career. So she would make wedding dresses. And that was kind of like part of her thing, was like this whole fashion design stuff. So she basically built me the exact same thing that Jack Sparrow had, like his whole outfit.
That's pretty awesome. I love making costumes. My best costume was my Nathan Drake costume, and it was so much fun to actually go through and make.
Yeah, I haven't made a costume, I think, ever. I really wanted to. I wanted to dress up as like Delson. From
You easily could run.
Oh, I'm gonna do it at some point. Absolutely.
I remember in my sophomore year of college, I threw my shirt on that I was wearing to go out. I was dead ass rolling in the dirt outside of my dorm to like get that like grimy dirt on the costume. It was awesome. It was great.
But anyway, Colin, that's a fantastic number one. Pirates of the Caribbean is obviously a fantastic series, at least to us, if it's been in 3 of our 4 lists.
This was easily another movie series that it was, again, extended family got together and they said, all right, we're watching all the Pirates of the Caribbean today. Everybody come over in your pajamas and we're just going to watch Pirates of the Caribbean. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Colin, everything you said that about were like movies my dad like would willingly watch. That the Pirates of the Caribbean is another movie that my dad.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of what made my Disney list, is like a lot of them were like the memories that I have being with my family and doing the fun things that we did with these things.
But anyway, Colin, great pick for Pirates of the Caribbean. Gonna move on to me for my coveted number 1 spot. And my number 1 spot is Lion King. Heyo, Matt. That's why we haven't talked about it yet. But yeah, Lion King.
Am I after you, or am I after Matt?
You are last.
After me.
You're after Matt.
I'm last. Okay. Well, how about we just skip a few steps, because my number 1, Ron, is as well Lion King, and I feel like it's gonna be a weird transition to just go back to it.
This is. Anyway, like.
No, I'm just. Say what you want to say.
No,
I said everything I want to say about
Taking the spotlight off of Ron. I see.
Literally, Zach, I, of course, once again have to shadow you, which makes sense because you're like 10 inches taller than me. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like,
Matt, that was the moment for the pretzel.
No, I've pretty much already talked about Lion King whenever Matt brought it up, but no, Lion King's a fantastic movie. I've always coveted that as like my number 1 Disney movie like ever when I talk to people and they just ask. And I was so excited when I found out they were remaking the movie that came out in like 2018 or something. I forget. I don't know.
I still haven't watched the live action.
It's really good.
I mean, it's good. I definitely.
It doesn't have as much. Like it holds the charm, but not entirely. But like they can do what they have to do. Like animals aren't climbing on top of each other and like the musical bits because they're made to look like real animals and everything. Like they really can't do that. It just makes sense.
No,
but yeah, Lion King is a fantastic movie. That's always just been the one I've always just wanted to keep watching and watching when I was younger. It was always one I went back to. I say this as a person who never even watched the sequel movies, though. So,
dude, the sequel movies are so good.
I've saw it on Disney.
Lion King 1.5 specifically is phenomenal.
Yeah, I need to watch them. You said it was so much aggression that it has to be true and passion. But yeah. I don't know. I was scrolling through Disney Plus, making my list and everything just to see if I missed anything. I came across The Lion King, 1.5 and 2, and I really want to watch it. Just because, actually, I didn't see 1.5. I saw Lion King 2.
1.5 was fantastic.
I really want to watch it. But yeah, I mean that's why I choose my number 1. We pretty much already talked about it. But Matt, and I guess Zach, that was Zach's number 1 spot. So Matt, you're the last one now since Zach won already.
He wanted to cheat.
He just needed to be ahead of you.
I mean, when you're 5'1" IRL, I get it.
It's true, very true. But Matt, hit us with your number 1 seating.
My number one is Aladdin.
Really?
I am genuinely surprised that only Ron mentioned it in their lists. I
Yeah.
thought we were gonna have a lot more Aladdin love,
Dude,
in the
Aladdin
Discord
is
call.
amazing.
but alas, it's definitely my favorite. The world is I think the world that Aladdin is in makes it so high on my list for me. I really love the world of Aladdin. Obviously, Robin Williams, the best performance in a Disney movie, point blank. Period. I mean, you can't beat them. Soundtrack A1.
Mm-hmm.
The villain is A1. It's just the whole movie is just perfect in my opinion.
Yeah,
I love it.
I believe, if I'm to be correct, Aladdin is. I think it's both. No. My sister Megan, it's her favorite Disney movie. I believe my oldest sister's is Pocahontas, but Aladdin, I think, holds a special place in my sister's heart, just because when we went to Disney World, a little girl ran up to her and asked her, like, are you like the princess are you Princess Jasmine? Because she, apparently, I guess a lot of little kids thought she was, like, she just looks like Princess Jasmine, just not in the costume. And I think she wanted my sister to, like, sign the little Disney blue booklet and everything, like, for, like, Jasmine's autographed. But yeah, Aladdin was watched a lot in my household, so it had to be on my list, just for that reason.
Matt,
but fantastic
let
movie.
me. At the end of my list, it really came down to Aladdin or Lion King. That was it.
But that's
It really
but
did.
why wasn't Aladdin on your list at all?
But then why wasn't it on your list then?
Yeah, wouldn't it be number 2
'Cause-
then?
No, yeah, it's so like originally originally it was number one. I'm gonna be honest with you. Originally Aladdin was number one for me.
I was surprised Lion King would be your number 1, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
'Cause I would have
you
put
know-
you after me if I had any
You know what?
inclination that that's how it would have been.
I originally, Ron, started when I went to start this list. I originally had Wreck-It Ralph on it and had it in mind. Didn't create the list with Wreck-It Ralph on it. When you mentioned it, that's when I was like, "Oh fuck!" I completely forgot. I had to re-edit it and everything, and then I was basically, honest to God, going back and forth between Aladdin and Lion King for my number one throughout the entire thing. And then after we started talking about Lion King and I said what I said about Lion King, that's what really made me sink in. I was like, all right, you know what? For me now, rewind like a year ago, Aladdin would have been my number one without a question. But because of the things I got from Lion King recently, that's why it became number one for me.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, like it was at least considered. So that's like is what's good, at least, you know. You had that like back and forth. And you already got to talk about Aladdin too earlier in the show whenever I spilled it as my number 5 too, you know. So you had like more time to consider it.
And that's also kind of what I thought about it too. But like, yeah, Aladdin, I love Genie, I love everything. And as I said, spoiler a fucking alert. I think Jasmine is a very specific reason why there's a certain preferences in my life, as you all know. But anyway. That's anyway.
Anyway, boys. Now that we finished our top 5 list, here's the quick little snippet of the show where we talk about our honorable mentions. We typically make a list of 3. No specific order. Number 1 and 3 don't really carry any weight, at least to me. It could for you guys. But since we started the show with Colin, we're going to start the honorable mentions with Colin. So, Colin, hit us with your 3.
So, my 3 is Sky High.
Ooh.
Sky fucking High.
Sky High's one of my honorable mentions too.
Fantastic.
That's such a banger.
So good.
I love that
Fantastic movie.
It is a fantastic movie.
It was close to my number 5, honestly.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like that's just the only reason why they bought Marvel is because they wanted to do more superheroes because of how great that movie was.
Dude, Sky High was phenomenal.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, it was just a good movie. That's about all you need to know about Sky High is you just need to watch it on Disney Channel Friday nights. It's probably not on Disney Channel anymore, but that's how it used to be. Number 2. Number 2 is The Pacifier.
I have never seen it.
You've never seen that?
Nope.
That's a Disney movie.
That's a Disney movie, yeah.
Oh my god, The Pacifier is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
give a fuck
fantastic.
how big of a goddamn Fast and Furious fan you are. That is Vin Diesel's best work.
Wait,
I mean,
now
I
that you
don't
say
know
Vin
about best
Diesel, now you
work.
say Vin Diesel's in the movie, I'm getting like
Phenomenal
little
movie.
flashbacks
Phenomenal.
of it. At least maybe like in trailers or something. Maybe.
Phenomenal movie.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it is a fantastic movie though. Definitely you just have to kind of go and watch it. It is a fun spy movie, I'll tell you that. It's definitely an unorthodox spy movie as well. Just go see it. And then number 3 is The Haunted Mansion.
Great movie.
Haunted Mansion
Fantastic
is
movie.
a fantastic movie. I mean, Eddie Murphy, you don't
Does
need to
no
say too much
wrong.
about him. He's fantastic. So, I think another thing was I remember the only video game my mother will play to this day is The Haunted Mansion. And it was a fantastic video game on the GameCube for me. I don't know if it was on anything else, but on the GameCube, that's where I had it. And it was a fantastic game that really captured extra things that you just don't see in the Haunted Mansion. Like all the extra behind the scenes stuff, you get to see so much more of what happened in the Haunted Mansion with the video game. It was a lot of fun. The whole movie was a lot of fun. And the video game definitely made me enjoy the movie a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
But great honorable mentions though, Colin. That's the thing with Disney is like all of like the honorable mentions are still
They're
bangers.
still very good.
They're still very good.
I'm surprised no Night Before Christmas, Colin.
Well,
Like,
that's the
but you're
problem
really
is The
into
Night
it.
Before Christmas was bought after it was made.
Oh, so it's not originally a Disney
Yeah.
film?
No, it still
I
airs
did-
on Disney. I
It
count
airs on Disney, but it was
No, but he's
like
saying
I
it's
think
not
that's fine.
originally.
yeah,
a part
whenever
of
it
the
was
Disney
created, it
canon.
wasn't. It was made by Jack Skellington Productions or whatever, and then Disney bought it and remade it to the Jack Skellington 3D Nightmare Before Christmas.
I got you. I
thing.
got you. Okay,
But yeah, I definitely would have put it on there.
gotcha.
Definitely would have put it on there.
All right.
I mean, I guess I could have put it on there and said I made the 3D version that Disney remade, but like I feel like that'd be cheap.
Nah,
But it's not the
you're good.
original.
But anyway, Colin, great honorable mentions list. Definitely hit me with some memes though on them. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
lie, Sky High
Some memes.
being one. Some memes. But my honorable mentions, Big Hero 6, of course. Shout out to Matt for putting it on
Love
this list.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 is a fantastic movie. My other two honorable mentions, honestly, one of them, I guess both of them were like came out when I was kind of in college, are Frozen and Tangled.
Tangled's a good movie.
Tangled is a fantastic movie because I remember
Tangled's
Frozen's
pretty
a
good.
little overrated, IMO.
Frozen overrated or
Yeah,
Tangled.
it's a little overrated.
I
like
haven't seen Frozen
think
2. I think
Frozen 2, dude. Olaf. Let me tell you what. Olaf has
Olaf
some
just
fucking
feels like me.
bangers, dude. Like shit.
Like the moment they go off on the adventure and Olaf is like, "You want to hear some fun facts?" I was like, "Oh my god, this is probably how my friends feel whenever I start spewing out
Dude.
garbage."
Dude, like Olaf said some stuff that I was like, wow, they actually put that in a kids movie. Like not because it's dirty or anything, but just because it is so like existential.
Oh yeah, no, his stuff
He
is
talks
not
to the
only
puddle.
fourth wall breaking, but like
Oh,
so
it's good.
mature for a kids movie.
It's real good.
But
yeah.
but I only Frozen was just the movie that just blew the hell up. Box office wise and everyone just talking about it wise. But like when it came to Tangled, I remember it was like freshman year of college and I texted our friend Kirsten because she watches everything Disney and I just wanted Disney recommendations because there's so many that I haven't watched and she gave me a giant list and thanks to our unfortunately never going to be a sponsor, I meant one. I watched like Tangled, Inside
You're gonna
Out,
make me cry.
like a dozen other Disney movies that I fell in love with. So she really came in clutch with that list. And a lot of princess movies that I honestly wouldn't have thought I would have ever enjoyed. But yeah. She really helped me
Princess
out with
movies
that.
are good, but I wouldn't put them anywhere near my top
Yo.
5 just because there's definitely better movies.
Also, just to give a quick shout out
I like the ones
to
that break the formula. Like, I
Yeah.
think Frozen is very by the numbers.
Just
I think Frozen was meant to be a musical for animation.
Yeah, basically.
Just to give a quick shout out to Frozen or not Frozen, I'm sorry, Tangled as well. Disney Infinity. I had a power disc for the Tangled Sky filled with those lanterns. That is pretty much all I used in my like creative worlds.
Dude, I am so upset they still haven't like put Disney Infinity like anywhere. They said they were gonna move it to Lego and they just haven't done it.
No, they have. Why would they? Why would they? Let's be honest. Honestly, maybe tomorrow, maybe my next project will be to set my figures up. I always thought I'd do that when I get an apartment, but
Well, I have my figures above my TV.
yeah. Well, Colin, you have a lot more space to work with.
I know.
You have a lot of figures.
I do have I have all the extra Disney ones in a box though. But all the Star Wars and Marvel ones are above my TV.
Gotcha.
Fantastic game, by the way. It's definitely like it's gonna be a kid's game, but if like you have fun with just goofing off,
I
it's a
think
good
it's
game.
better than Minecraft in some ways. In some ways.
No.
Now that is a burning hot take.
That is done.
Dude, you didn't play it like I did, Matt. I'm telling you, there are some aspects of it that
There was a lot. That game had a lot of fun.
Oh no, if Zach's mouth opened, it was to
No.
talk about Disney Infinity.
I'm sure it's fun, but
All right, whatever.
everyone's allowed to be
Eat my
wrong.
ass.
It's just Zach's
Eat my
turn to be wrong.
ass.
It's just your turn to be wrong. I mean,
No, I'm not
that's all it
making.
is.
I wasn't saying
Everyone
anything bad. I was just talking about how she loved it.
Who's
Now it's
next?
your time.
Whose next thing is it?
It's mine.
It's Matt.
All right, then go, Matt. Then go.
I had National Treasure as mine. as one-
Fantastic.
I love both of those films a lot. I also had Sky High as one of my honorable mentions. I'm honestly surprised that no one else mentioned it besides Colin. It's such a banger.
Such a good movie.
And I also had Bridge to Terabithia.
Bridge to
Dude.
Terabithia. That's a good one. I just
It's
Dude.
like there hasn't been too many movies that have like impacted me emotionally like that
That was
movie
the
has.
first one.
To
That
the
was-
point where like I almost like can't go back and rewatch it because it's
No.
just
yeah.
it's just rough, but it's so good.
I
And at the same
cried.
time, the last quarter of the movie is just setting up to be like the saddest thing in the world.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude. I've never
boys.
cried. What?
I never seen it.
Honestly, Ron, I'm not even gonna recommend it to you. Don't do it. Like it's just,
Yeah.
It's
I
very
thought from the like trailers and stuff, and like with like the kind of
Oh,
real
it's
world
not
like,
marketed to be what do you think it is?
Dude, I thought it was gonna be like
Yeah.
these people go to this fantasy world. No, I sat in that theater and I watched this fucking girl die, and I was like, wow. First time in my life I ever like cried in public, and I remember like when it was happening, I saw my mom out of the corner of my eye looking at me. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not crying. It's not happening. And dude, it hit me. I was, oh man, it got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna go. I got up and I went to the bathroom just to like get it out. It was a ride, man. I'm never watching that movie again. The same thing. Like I feel the same way with that and Eight Below. And Marley and Me. Those three movies, never watch again.
I
Marley
will
and Me.
never watch
Wow.
Marley and Me again.
No, it's not happening.
No, I've already had 2 Marley and Me's go on in my life. I don't need more.
No, you can't. You can't.
We've all dealt with that, and that's just not something you just want to
Yeah.
be like, hey, we haven't watched Marley and Me in so long. It's not like Chicken Little.
Dude,
like
you don't.
Yeah,
You don't. No,
It's
man.
not like, hey, wow, we haven't watched Titanic in some time. It's like, no, you don't go back and watch Marley and Me after you've watched it once.
Yeah, you can. And like you watch it once, like if you had it happen to you, you're like, I got this. I can handle this. Then you watch it once, you never watch it again, or you watch it because you've never dealt with it, and you're like, maybe it does something to you, but like, yeah, no.
Or you're a psychopathic serial killer that finds joy in the movie, so
Yeah, dude, no.
If someone ever told me that Marley and Me was their favorite movie, I would not trust them.
Oh,
ever as a
dude,
person.
no.
In some aspects, sure, but watching it more than once to make it your favorite movie is terrifying to me.
yeah.
That and Eight Below too. Same idea.
Honestly,
I don't know what
instead
it
of
was.
watching instead of watching Marley and Me or Bridge to Terabithia, if you want something that's like good like Bridge to Terabithia but doesn't have the absolute like annihilation of emotions at the end, is that one movie with The Rock where they dealt with the aliens, and there was the blonde girl in the backseat of the car that's the meme now.
Oh, I know exactly. I
Oh,
know
Race to Witch
what you're
Mountain?
talking about.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
go watch that instead. Just go watch that instead.
Race to
Yeah.
Witch Mountain is so
Fun-
good.
that's a
I'm talking
fun
about
watch.
like the original series. I think I recall the original, like the new remake. Good. Race to Witch Mountain is a phenomenal movie. That's not in my shout outs, but for sure it's a shout out.
It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
But Matt, the honorable mentions.
I said them all already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I just meant like you just.
He was just saying good job.
Yeah, good job.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I tried my
Yeah,
hardest.
little words of encouragement. But Zach, to wrap up the show, hit us with your honorable
Dude.
mentions.
I'm really shocked. I felt so bad putting this in my honorable mentions. I'm so shocked that nobody had it in their list or honorable mentions. But the Iron Giant.
Bad.
I think it's a good movie, but
It's okay.
Oh, dude, I love the Iron Giant. I think it's so good. But yeah, the Iron Giant. I have Freaky Friday. Oddly enough,
Freaky Friday is
Freaky
good.
Friday. Love
Lindsay
that movie.
Lohan.
Is it just because it's Chinese
Jamie
food
Lee
or like?
Curtis.
No, it's because I watched it all the time. I remember it so vividly sitting at my grandma's house, and I would watch it all the time, both with my grandma and like with other members of my family. I watched Freaky Friday all the time, and I thought it was so good.
Yeah, me and my mom would watch Freaky Friday a lot, and
Yeah.
I have to say, like, the fact that they made Chinese food such a big part of it, I give them a thumbs up for that. Chinese food is amazing.
Yeah, and then
I mean, I agree.
there's
Absolutely.
like so many like good Disney movies, but my final shout out is going to be Meet the Robinsons. I think Meet the Robinsons is.
I wanted to put Meet the
Great
Robinsons
movie.
in.
Man,
Forgot
but
about it.
I just felt Sky High needed to be stated, and I didn't know if anybody
Honestly,
would remember
that's
it.
fair. That's fair. Like it's like, yeah, it's good. Like it's hard. It's hard. I mean, honestly, Beverly Hills Chihuahua is like no.
With George
I'm
Lopez, right?
lying. I'm lying. Is he in it? I don't know. High
Wait,
School
wasn't that
Musical,
Nickelodeon?
Like, honestly,
High School Musical was good.
High School Musical. Shout out just for being what it was. Like,
Yeah.
the epitome of.
High School Musical 3. That's really
Yeah,
where it
for
was
sure.
at.
Wasn't
But,
Beverly Hills Chihuahua Nickelodeon?
No,
I don't know.
No, it wasn't.
I really
think
don't
so.
know.
Okay.
Do you think Nickelodeon? All right, look, Ron.
That doesn't sound correct.
Nickelodeon would not put out Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
They've
Wouldn't
put out
happen.
worse,
Wouldn't
to be
happen.
clear.
I guess.
All right. Like, look. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, that's my honorable mentions.
Well, great.
That's it. I'm done.
That's the end of this episode of Top 5. Thank you all so much for listening to today's show, and let us know whose list you agreed with the most. If you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a like, rating, and share our podcast. We'll see you all next time.